So you go to turn on your unit and it doesn't heat up. Perhaps it does this. It starts to, looks like it's going to climb on the temperature, and then it starts fluctuating between, see, the 22 and the 21. It's not climbing. It's not going to climb. This means something's wrong. It could be something as simple as a loose wire inside, because keep in mind, on these manual machines, you're constantly pumping the machine, so in time you could drive a wire loose. Or it could be a part has become defective, and generally the two parts, if it is a part, is either the relay or the heat tubes. We have a separate video on how to replace the heat tubes if needed, but we're going to show you how to replace the relay now. I've already removed it, but there's 2 screws in the front, 2 screws in the back, and then you'll need to loosen just a little bit the 2 bolts on the side with the hexagonal wrench, so this whole piece will come off. Obviously we're going to turn it off, we're going to unplug it before we do anything, and since I have loosened all this, what I like to do is take and tuck this down in the front, because you don't want to pull any wires loose. Then turn the unit around so you can work on the unit effectively. And always check all the wiring. It could be something as simple as a wire. One of the main areas where there could be a problem with wires is right here, and that's because it's a connector where the heat tubes connect up with the rest of the unit, and if these little wires become just a little bit loose, it could cause your unit to heat up a little bit, then stop heating up and decrease, or maybe not heat up at all. This is the relay, and so when you, at this point, we're going to plug the machine back in. Your relay should be lighting up. Now the relay is simply a plug-in unit. Obviously you unplug the electricity, but in transiting from the factory, they use hot glue to hold all the elements together. Plus, as you can see here, they've used a tie. So we're going to turn the unit off, unplug it, never work on a plugged-in machine, and then we're going to remove, first of all, the tie, pair of scissors or wire cutters, and then we are going to, as you can see, the tie will come right off. Normally it would just pop off, but because it's been glued on with hot glue, we have to yank it off. Now at this point, you carefully need to break the seal where they use the hot glue to put that on, and then you're simply going to remove this and put another one on. Remember, you always keep it unplugged, but remember to be very careful when you're taking the hot glue off. If you can gently scrape it off with a butter knife or something, and then be careful when you're pulling that off. When you pull that off, you may want to do a little cleaning if some hot glue got down on top of this connector here. Just give it a nice cleaning, and then we're going to go ahead and put the new piece in, plug it in, and check to see if it's working properly before we move any further. Alright, I went ahead and replaced the relay, and as you can see, if I would have been more observant, there was physical damage on the relay. It's partially melted, the outside encasement, and as I pulled it out, you could see damage to one of the connectors where it obviously shorted and sparked. If you happen to notice anything like that when you're inspecting the unit from the beginning, that would indicate where the problem is. You could do a fix and do that that physical inspection with the flashlight or whatever before you replace any parts, because if you see any areas shorted like this, you can replace only the limited part needed. In this case, there was no need to replace the heat elements, as they're just fine, but this way you see that the machine is up and running. It's right now heating up at 85 degrees Celsius. It went from 2122, so it's good to go. What I'm going to do is turn the machine off right now, unplug it since I did my test, And I am going to go ahead. I'm not going to put heat glue on it because I'm not going to be shipping it anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and put my large tie on there, plastic tie that was on there before. So all I got left to do to finish my job here is to pull a tie through. Make sure I don't clip any wires or anything while I'm at it. Make sure I use the right tie, and then pull it through there. This way it helps to secure all the parts in case, with all the jerking around that especially the manual machine does, you want those parts all on nice and tight.